Terrence Crawford just robbed the boxing world and then decided to retire. He refused to pay the WBC fees he knew he would owe when he decided to fight for the WBC belt, then made a selfie video acting as if he were the victim of some hidden fee that was sprang onto him from out of the blue.
You know, I see Mauricio, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the f you think I am? Boy, you better slap your self. Ain't paying your ass you talking about pay you $300,000. What makes you so better than any of the other sanctioned bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the green belt, which don't mean the real belt is the ring belt, which is free. What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them? How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agreed to the same amount, but you sit your ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you? The you can take.
By the way, the $300,000 he's talking about was the reduced rate from the WBC. The usual 3% would have been $1.5 million of his $50 million winnings, so they dropped it to 0.6% for him, which is the $300,000 he's talking about, and he still refused. The WBC is part of the foundation that allows for the rules-based structure that allows him to safely make money. Their fees are higher than other bodies because they do more. They provide medical oversight, they fund referees, judges, and even have programs for children like the WBC Cares program and fund retirement programs for retired boxers who aren't doing so well. It's like going to a nice restaurant knowing their prices and leaving without paying because it's too expensive and saying that the food is cheaper at McDonald's. The WBC belt is the most prestigious, and it's what gives the belt title holder notoriety. No one forced Crawford to fight for this belt in the first place.
Whether you agree with the level of sanction fees or not, and a lot of what the WBC takes in sanction fees, they put into various different programs for retired fighters, for the WBC testing program, for a lot of different stuff. Do I think $300,000 is a lot of money? Yes, I do. Right? Now, he knew how much he had to pay before the fight. This wasn't a surprise. If you look at his video of all the WBC belts, he knows exactly what he's got to pay. He just didn't agree with it, right? But what you can't do is go through with the fight, yeah, knowing he would have received an invoice before the fight, because they always make sure, everybody sends them before the fight, right?
They have
so you've got it. But what he decided to do was go through with the fight, call himself undisputed, which he deserved, amazing fighter, and then not pay the bill. That's wrong. That's wrong.
If he believed their sanctioning fees were too high, then the high road would have been not to fight for that particular belt in the first place, rather than winning the belt and leaving the restaurant without paying. And this fee applies to everyone. Every WBC belt winner pays this fee, which is usually 3%, though it's reduced for large fight purses, as in the case of Terrence Crawford, so they're not paying 3% on tens of millions of dollars.
Today, I'm pretty fucking pissed off. Terrence Crawford, he told the WBC to basically go fuck themselves yesterday and is refusing to pay sanctioning fees to them for his $50 million fight against Canelo. $50 million! Did he forget where he came from? Or how he got there? How do you think you rose to that level? Through the ranking system. You get positioned to make that kind of money. I mean, come on, you're 38 years old. You've been paying sanctioning fees for a long time in the past. There's nothing new here. It's nothing groundbreaking. You had no problem when they were ranking you to fucking fight Canelo. It's like my agent getting me a huge movie and he's asking for his 10% commission of all the work he put in. And then I tell him, you know what? Go fuck yourself. How fair is that? I've heard Crawford say many times that he loves the belts, but suddenly the WBC is the enemy and the ring belt is the only one that matters? I mean, seriously, Suleiman has to be rolling in his grave. Literally. I mean, it sounds like you're reading a script or something. Come on, you've been the ring mouthpiece and the chosen one since they came on board 2 years ago. We all know that. I mean, it looks like that monopoly money really got to your head. This is not the way champions behave. Once you start making money, you don't behave this way. Young fighters shouldn't be looking up to this. Any kid who becomes an amateur dreams of becoming a world champion and having a belt. The kids dream of becoming world champions like you did, Terrence. This is not the way to behave. Look, yes, there is an agenda with TKO. Yes, they want to create one belt, one entity to control the entire sport. But it's sad that they made you the mouthpiece? You of all people? I thought you had integrity. I thought you had respect for boxing and the sport. What do you think the Jose Suleiman Foundation does because of those sanctioning fees that you refuse to pay? You know what he does? He helps these kids get off the streets. He houses ex-fighters. That money goes into retirement funds. That money goes into paying hospital bills for fighters who can't make it. So just because you made it, Crawford, and you made $50 million, you don't want to pay that fee ever again? That is wrong. I'm very disappointed. Yeah, there's an agenda here by that TKO group. And
So this isn't some conspiracy. This isn't a fee fabricated out of thin air to punish Terrence Crawford for defeating Canelo Alvarez, which is the excuse being floated by some very low IQ people. By the way, Bud Crawford claimed that the ring belt is the only one that matters and that it's free. That's because that organization is owned by his friend, His Excellency Turki Alalshik. He is a billionaire who funds the ring belt, so unlike the WBC, it doesn't have costs to recoup because it's funded by a billionaire who's been made rich from Saudi investments. If Crawford really believed that was the only belt that mattered, then he could have just fought for that belt and no other. So, not only is Crawford leaving boxing without paying his tab, he's helping the Saudis in their aim to take over boxing. Sad, very sad. Did Terrence Crawford prove Nick Fuentes right?
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, you know, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative. Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the f***? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane. And, you know, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table and the black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude.
Yep.
Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people.
Man, you hit the nail on the head, man.
Yeah, we got a show for y'all.
Got a damn good show. Before we get to today's video, want to tell you about my new giveaway. F-250 King Ranch and Camper, $10,000 in cash. Get in to win? Just go to my website. Pick up any of my swag, Mifflin Blue, t-shirts, caps, coffee, and you get automatically in to win.
I find Nick Fuentes to be he's very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
He's articulate.
Genuine. Very blunt, too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everything he's saying,
Yeah.
me and my brother, we figured it out when we was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't like going to the black side of town. I like staying over on the white side of town.
Yeah.
Because I had bad experiences when I went over there.
Yeah. Actually, a majority of my black friends I had growing up in high school, eventually they tried to kill me.
Well, they tried
I
to
had a
do
black
so.
friend pull a gun on me.
Well, our first gun was put on us when we was 10, 11 years
It's a
old.
member of the basketball team.
Yeah, we was on the basketball team together. We was going in for basketball practice.
I had knives. I had black people threatening to kill me. That was like, and that wasn't just I'm not talking about isolated events. This is like the usual thing, the usual behavior I got from black friends, black people in my high school, black people I went to school with.
This is the experiences we had before we even graduated from high school.
I was scared of growing up. I'm black and I'm scared to be around black folks. I figured that out when I was like 13, 14. I didn't want to be around them.
Yeah. Let me finish Nick.
Shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people. When you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. And you equate that with danger.
Hey, Kevin, you be walking down the street, you see black people. One over there.
Hey, look, it's the black people. He just crossed the street. He's gonna rob us. Let's cross the street.
Yeah, look, I can't see him. Can't see him. Look, there's his eyes. You can see his eyes moving.
Danger. And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. You know, that's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, like, yeah, I have a problem with all of that. And people go, and these black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior.
You know what's crazy? Like, black people don't like white people telling them this.
Mm-hmm.
But when black people like us come out and say the same thing, we're sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be white.
Yeah. The thing about black folks and black culture, we don't hold our very own people accountable. Like if you see an Asian person, Japanese, whether they're Chinese, Japanese, Korean, behaving like this person is blackballed. He's an outcast in that culture, in that family. And black in our culture,
It's embraced.
it's embraced.
We
Pimps,
celebrate them.
Yeah, we
make movies about pimps.
we
and
make
glorify
movies
them.
about drug dealers. We think that stuff is
Reason that we talk about this, by the way, I know a lot of black people see this and they go, man, why are you always talking about black people, this and that? Because there just needs to be some shame here. Well, there's a few reasons. First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them. Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see what happens. And nobody, is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of black people pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way. You avoid their neighborhoods. You avoid going out on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And
I figured this out when I was like 11, 12 years old.
I mean, I'm black and I think this way.
And a lot of black people feel this way.
Yeah, a lot of black people think this way.
Yeah. They don't want to say it out loud, though. But Nick Fuentes is that real. He'll say it.
we are every bit justified because we see what's going on and we don't want to die. It's that simple. That's pattern recognition. That's not racism. That's pattern recognition. That's one. And two, I really hope, because I'm rooting for black people, like I'm rooting for humanity. I'm rooting for everybody to be safe and to be healthy and to be happy. I really hope that somewhere out there, although I'm not optimistic, black people are starting to develop some sense of self-awareness. Where's the shame? Aren't you people ashamed? When I see these clips of the graduation ceremonies where they're twerking on stage and dancing, when I see these videos of the black cheerleaders on the basketball court brawling it out, when I see the Carmelo Anthony, and not only that, but then they raise $500,000 for him and then they get a public defender. When I see that video of a black security guard rifling through the pockets of an unconscious white guy that got his ass kicked, and the list goes on and on and on. You have to ask the black people that are normally so proud, and with the chip on their shoulder, aren't you ashamed? Are you not ashamed when you see these things?
They're not ashamed. They rationalize and say, you know what, we've been through hell in this country for hundreds of whatever to say. Because of this country's systemically racist past, they will justify the things that they do. And that's why they do the things that they do.
Yeah.
Which is totally wrong, by the way.
Yeah, which none of us have experienced 400 years of oppression. Not one black person can say that, but they like to put themselves in that position like they've been suffering for 400 years, even though they've been on this planet maybe 24, 25 years. All that's been taught to them is just to hate white people, hate the American flag, just hate society in general. Just everything is not their fault. So in a sense, you can say it's cultural. It's cultural, you know? Everything is somebody else's fault. That's why they behave that way.
Oh, he's white. I'm going to go and go through his wallet. He's got insurance. He'll be okay. He's white. He has white privilege.
Right.
That's the mindset, and that's what they use to justify what they're doing. They actually don't think they're doing anything wrong.
You know why? You know why? Low capacity.
Some of it, Kevin, but
Keith, yeah, some of it, yeah, but if somebody tells you it's okay to go through that man's pants after he get the shit kicked out of him because he's white, would you do that?
No,
of course not. Because I would argue that you are, above average intelligence. The people that's doing that, they are below average intelligence.
Yeah.
Are there any black people that see this and have the slightest lick of self-awareness, of common sense, of decency to say, are you not ashamed to see these scenes play out over and over again? Where's the accountability? And this is where that word fatigue comes in. We're just tired of seeing it. You see these clips and you know every race of person, maybe except for most blacks, white, Chinese, Indian, Hispanic, and even liberals see these clips and they say, are you surprised? They shake their heads. They say, yep. Usual suspects.
You have to think people who vote for
Steven Crowder left them speechless after dropping this one fact about black fatigue.
I don't know if you guys were following the stabbing there on that train in Charlotte. You guys heard of the term black fatigue? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know what it means? It's a term that's being used by people in the white community, by and large, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit. That was a girl who was dying alone in public. And that was a guy who was let out 14 times, including violent crimes, in the name of racial justice. White people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around.